and mindset. I'm the money and mindset mentor. And the reason why money and mindset, because I believe that all the mindset in the world, if you don't take action, if you don't transition that into a tangible way of, really monitoring or being able to track it, you can end up being a serial person that gets caught up in the mindset and never really gets, to be able to do what it is that that you need to do and that you say you're going to do. And how many of us have been serial mindset people? So maybe it is that we're writing down our goals, we're praying. Those of you that are, people of faith, you're affirming, you're manifesting, and you can get stuck in that phase. And so money and mindset is all about making sure that, yes, we have the mindset. Yes, we get ourselves in the right mind. Yes, we express love and gratitude and affirmations and, speaking life over ourselves and believing, but then faith without works is dead. And so we really want to make sure that we have a balance of, the mindset as well as the actions. And I believe that the actions that we take is going to get us to, the goals that we want, the monetary goals in specific. So we're here today on the second week of Focus and Fly. Last week, we really spoke about how we're going to focus to get things done, how we're going to make sure that we keep our mind right, and how we make sure that, we don't allow distractions. And, the last season we set goals and we may or may not have hit those, but we're not going to allow that to disturb the next season of our life. We're going to stay focused. We're going to keep ourselves, hold ourselves accountable. And today we're going to be talking about focus, of course, but we're going to look at it from being, real tangible and strategic. And we're going to be talking about plans. Now, I know every single one of us have heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to what, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? We've all heard it. But how many of us have not planned out what we're going to do tomorrow? Come on, put a 7 in the chat if you have not planned out specifically what you're going to do tomorrow. So one of the things that I really, really want to get across to us, guys, is that, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. In this season of Focus and Fly means less chatting, more doing. Come on now, guys. How many of you have ever met someone and they talk so much? Have you ever met somebody that talks so much and every time they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do this, and you meet them 5 years down the line and they're still gonna do it. They ain't moved from where they said they were gonna do. And I think we're gonna say something here, guys. I said this last year and the year before, but we're bringing it back now. No more chattings, no more bag of chattings. I don't want to hear no more bag of chattings, right? We need to make sure that we are doers. And I'm a woman of faith, and I said it today to a gentleman I was on the phone. I said, listen, I don't want to just be somebody that reads the word. I want the word to reflect in my life. I want the words and the scriptures and all the things that we quote. It needs to be evident in my life. I need to live the word. I need to be the word. I don't just want to speak I don't want to just keep speaking the word and not be the word. And so tonight's call, guys, is all about our planning, all about making sure that we're really planning to succeed. And so I want you to take notes here today, but I want you to take notes from a place of understanding that, guess what? If I implement the things that I'm writing down, I'm going to have the goals of my heart. I'm going to have the desire of my heart. And we've been working, especially those of you that are inside my boot camp in the inner community, we've been working on writing out our goals and writing down what it is that we want to achieve and writing down, the specific things that we need to do. And so this probably will go over 2 sessions because I don't think we're going to get through it all on today's session because I want to end on time. But I do want to make sure that we understand the power of planning. Planning is not an appointment. Planning is not saying, oh, I've got an appointment today. It's not a to-do list, okay? Plans are very specific and they are proactive and they are personal. They are, it's not just a little to-do list to say, okay, I've got to do this, that, and yeah. No, a plan has to be specifically directed at achieving the goals that you say you want to achieve. Very, very simple. And a lot of us, guys, we have different levels of what we call planning. Some of us write on the back of an envelope and say, I need to get these stuff done today. Or if you need to make a set amount of calls, you're going to say, okay, I need to call these people. I need to call this institution. I've got to call the doctors. I've got to call this. And we write it down as a trigger memory. That is not planning. Okay, that's not planning, guys. As much as we may want to tell ourselves that, that is not planning. When you are planning out exactly who it is that you want to be and exactly what it is that you want to have and exactly the goals that you say you want to have this year, this month, this week, you've got to be more specific around your time and around the things that you have to do in order to be successful. I've seen a lot of people's plans over the last few days and I'm like, first thing is first, do you know where you're going? What is it that you want? What's the desire of your heart? What is it that you want to achieve in the month of February? Let's start there. Because sometimes, like, in 5 years, I want to be a millionaire, Nikki. In 3 years, I want to move house. In 2, but what about this week? What about this week? What about this exact week? What do you want to achieve this week, this month? Let's start there. How about we start there? Because if we can do some small, we call it aggregate goals, some tiny little things that we can implement to be able to get that goal done, I think we're going to be closer than keep saying in 5 years we want to be a millionaire, in 5 years we want to do this. And so I dare you tonight to put something in the chat box that you want to achieve. One thing. I don't want a bunch of things. One thing that you want to achieve in the month of February. Let's do this, right? In the month of February, one thing that you want to achieve. Because I can tell you this, a lot of you maybe had goals last season, or you may have goals last month or the month before, and there's only the few reasons why you didn't achieve them. It's either your plan was ineffective or it wasn't implemented well. If you had a plan last season, okay, I'm going to say 3 things actually. If you had a goal last season, it's one of 3 reasons why that goal has not been done. Number 1, you didn't plan for it. Number 2, you didn't execute your plan if you did plan for it. Or number 3, your plan was ineffective. That's the only way that you did not achieve the goal, if you didn't achieve a goal that you set for yourself. And so what we want to make sure we do, we want to make sure, number 1, we have a plan. Do you know most people don't even have a plan? Most people have no plan. They go around and they just wish for the best, hope for the best. So number 1, the first thing we must do is we're not going to hope for the best anymore. We're going to have a plan. A man without a plan shall what, guys? If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a vision, you won't perish. So the first thing we need to do is have a plan, right? Then we need to make sure that the plan is, you know, the right things that's going to help us to execute in all the right things in that plan. If we execute it, it's going to give us the desire of our heart. I asked somebody the other day, I said, what's the goal that you want to achieve? They said, Nikki, I want to earn 1,000 in the month of February from my side hustle. Okay, great. Now, what are the actions that you're going to be taking that you need to do in order to make that 1,000? The person said, I'm going to do my mindset. I'm going to do my personal development. I'm going to say my affirmations. I'm like, none of that's going to get you 1,000 a month. It's going to put you in the right mindset. But what's the actual things that you need to do? You see, sometimes we have a plan and that plan is ineffective because it's not executing the right things that's going to get us the goal that we want. I'm using that as an example, but say yes or yes if you understand what I'm saying. And so planning is not a new concept, guys. We've all heard about it before. I'm not here to teach you what planning is. We all know what planning is. Most people recognize the benefits of planning, but few people typically plan well, and many people don't even plan at all. Planning is very, very important. If you understand that, say yes or yes. And so the most successful people, what they do is they plan in 90 days. Then they break down those 90 days into like weekly. And then they use the weekly plan to be able to dictate, okay, what am I going to do every day? So what's your 90-day game plan? You want to break down that 90-day game plan into a monthly, and then you're going to look at your weekly operating rhythm. I call it a weekly operating rhythm, the way that you're going to operate. Now, what's the benefits of you having a weekly operating rhythm? Let me tell you this. When you are predictable, people understand, okay, Monday, Nikki's going to be doing her mindset call at 9 o'clock. When you are predictable, people trust you more. Okay, every day at 9 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, Nikki is doing her business opportunity call. So I know I'm not going to get her at 9 o'clock Monday to Friday because she's either doing her mindset on Monday or her business opportunity call Tuesday through Friday. Yes or yes. And guess what? I execute that plan. I've been doing that plan, guys, for the last 5 years. Never missed a day. Consistency. What else? What else is it that you can be consistent on? What can you be consistent on in your operating rhythm? Are you predictable? Can people predict when your business is open? You know, I've been posting on social media every single day, okay, strategically, content based for my business for the last 6 years. Never missed a day. Do you show up for yourself? So you have your 90-day plan, your weekly plan, and then your daily plan. Your daily plan is going to get through what you're going to do, okay? And we're going to break that down in a minute, right? So very simply, you're going to have your daily plan, which is taking the tasks from your weekly plan and breaking them down so you can be consistent. I'm going to give you an example in a minute, right? If you are somebody who is a leader, or maybe you are a manager, maybe you are, you know, a CEO, or you have some leadership responsibilities, if you are not good at creating a plan and executing a plan, your goals and your success is going to be limited. If you are somebody that says, I want to achieve more this month, say me in the chat. Because the only way you're going to achieve that more is if you actually plan to achieve that more. You got to do more if you want to get more. I'm going to give you an example. I see we have Marsha on the call. Marsha makes dresses, bridal dresses. Now, if Marsha decides, and Marsha says, hey, look, Nikki, in the month of February, I want to sell £20,000 worth of bridal dresses. 20,000 is my number. Let's all come in agreement with Marsha. Say 20,000 in the month of February. I want to sell bridal dresses, right? What is it that Marsha is going to have to do in order to make sure that she achieves that goal? There are going to be some tangible things that Marsha is going to have to do. Marsha can't just sit down and pray about it. Marsha can't just sit down and read affirmations. Marsha has to be strategic. Marsha's got to promote herself. She's got to make sure she's socially active. She's got to make sure she has testimonials. She's got to make sure that she's physically doing the work, maybe making cold calls, ringing people, chasing back people that have asked for a quote previously that haven't actually bought yet. There's going to be some specific things that Marsha will have to do in order to make that 20,000 a month. Now, here's where I would start with there. I would know my numbers. Now, a lot of people don't know their numbers. I asked a bunch of leaders this week. I said, if you are somebody that is leader, that you're determined in the month of February to execute at least 2,000 in sales, send me a message. And I had a bunch of leaders send me a message. And I asked them, if you want to hit 2,000 in sales, where are you right now? And none of them could give me a number. They were like, well, I know I need to do a lot more. Well, how much more? Is it 1,000? Is it 1,500? Is it 1,800, 1,900? And it took me ages to give me a number. Tell me your number. What is your number? You got to know your numbers. Listen, if you don't know where you're going nowhere. You must know your numbers. Someone write down in the chat, I must know my numbers. I know my numbers. Don't ever mistake yourself and not get your numbers. You got to know your numbers, know where you're going. The first thing is you got to know where you're going. Okay, now we're going to take it back. So now we're going to say, let's say, for example, we're going to use Marsha as an example. I'm going to use my calculator right here. Marsha wants to make 20,000, okay, 20,000 for the month. And Marsha's average dresses are around, let's say, 2,000. So we divide that by 2,000, which is the average dresses. That means Marsha needs to sell 10 dresses in the month of February in order to get that 20,000, right? We just divided it by the average dress that she actually sells. So 20,000 is the number. Her average dress sale is 2,000. She needs 10 customers to buy at 2,000 and she will have 20,000 for the month. Yes or yes, guys? This is basic maths. I know I'm an ex-banker out here, but I think we can all establish that that is basic maths. So now we have 10 customers. And let's say we're going to divide that by 4 weeks in the month. Marsha needs to sell 2.5 customers. Let's round it up. 3 customers a week buying 2,000 is her target for her to be on track for that 20,000. Now, if Marsha needs 3 customers to buy, law of average says that probably she needs to speak to 10 in order to get 1 to buy. So that means Marsha needs to speak to 30 individuals in order to get her 3 sales. So now we're saying 30 a week times by 4, Marsha must speak to 120 individuals and she will get her 10 dress sales that she needs. Guys, is this rocket science or is this numbers? Someone type numbers inside the chat. What are your numbers? First step, you need to know your numbers. So now Marsha says, okay, I need to speak to 120 brides. I got to make sure that I'm speaking to 30 a week. Okay, so now we're going to look at the plan and I'm going to go onto your plan, your schedule. When am I going to make these calls? So Marsha then looks at her schedule in her mind. She's saying, okay, I know I can't do 9 till, 8 till 10 because that's school run time. But as soon as I get back 11 till 12, I'm going to do an hour worth of calls. That's going to enable me to contact 5 or 6 clients I'm gonna get through. And then 11 till 12, that's my phone call time. Guess what? 2 till 3, that's my phone call time. Then I do school run, and then I'm gonna catch the late lot, maybe 7 till 8. So I got 3 slots where I'm gonna get in that time to do the work. That's how you call planning to do the work. Now, let's say, for example, Marsha does those 3 sessions and she realizes now, and this is, part 2, probably when it comes to evaluating the plan, but I'm just going to say it now because it's come to my head. Marsha realizes that actually I'm not getting no one between 10 and 2. 10 and 2 isn't working, but 7 till 8 is working. Maybe I should do 6 till 8. Maybe I should do 7 till 8 and then 8 till 9. If the plan doesn't work, you adjust it, guys. But you have to, first of all, you got to work the plan to determine if the plan is working. How many of us know we got to be better at planning and working the plan? I'm a plan to work, but then I'm going to work the plan, right? We got to work the plan. So now we've got the daily methods of operation. What are the things that I need to do every single day in order to make the numbers make sense? Have you ever, let's be honest, guys, I used to do this. I used to just pick out random numbers out of the air. My mentor would stick it on me. Like, what do you want to do this month? And I'm like, 50K. They're like, 50K? All right, let's work out the numbers. So if you want to make 50K, but your average product is 1,000, that means you got to sell 55. But you 50 divided by 1,000, now you're looking at, is that possible? Well, no, it's not possible. Are you going to speak to 250 people a day? Is that possible? Okay, no. So I'm just making up the number. Let's make it absolutely clear here, guys. Don't bluff yourself and don't make numbers up. You got to understand your numbers so that your plan is in alignment with your number. Whatever the goal is, there's got to be a way of tracking it. If there's no way of tracking it, it's not a goal. And we're not going to be talking about how to set goals here. I'm sure we've done a previous session. We may come back again. But you have your what, your how much, by when. What is it that I want to achieve? I want to sell dresses. How much? 20,000 of. By when? End of the month, right? So we have the what, the how much, and by when. And then what we're going to do is fit that into the plan. So what do I actually need to do in order to make these sales? What do I actually need to do in order to achieve this goal? It works out the same. I want to lose weight. I want to lose at least a stone by the end of the month. Okay, so if I want to lose a stone by the end of the month, I need to break those 15 pounds down. Okay, 5, 10, 15. That's 5 in 3 weeks. If I can do 5 in 3 weeks, 5 pounds, I would have hit my target. I'd have hit my goal. What do I now need to do in order to hit that goal of losing a stone in the 4 weeks? Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I'm going to drink a liter of water every single day. I'm going to cut out the fizzy drinks. I'm going to make sure my plate sizes are smaller. Maybe cut out some carbs when I'm eating carbs, when I'm eating meat. I'm having these strict conversations with myself, and I'm setting myself some strict goals so that I'm very clear in my mind exactly what I've got to do, when I've got to do it, how I've got to do it, how much of it I'm going to do. And there's a way of tracking. If you keep saying to yourself, I'm gonna stop procrastinating, there's no way of tracking that. That's not clear enough. It's not tangible enough. We've got to get real granular with what it is that we are saying that we want to do so that we can implement that into a plan. The way you can check this, guys, is if you give it to somebody else, they can tell you exactly what it means. If you gave it to a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old, they can read that and do it. Okay, so in order for me to lose the weight, every single day, I'm going to skip 100 skips. Is that duplicatable for all of us here? Yes, we all understand what 100 skips mean. If I say I'm going to eat healthier, we're all going to interpret that differently. So you've got to be clearer about the steps that you're going to take. I was looking at some individuals. Do you know how hard it is for people to plan? People find it so hard to plan out specific things that they want to do because we always just give ourselves the blight to just make it sound easy. And now we've got to really make sure that we understand there's an importance when it comes to setting plans, but there's also master planning where, this is high level, where you're really planning on a bigger scale because you want to achieve a big goal. Anybody on here want to achieve a big goal? Anybody? Anybody on here? So spoken about inspecting your goal, your plan. Don't keep doing a plan that's not working, guys. I had a girl one time, I was mentoring her, and she was just like, Nikki, I've put down, I'm going to do an Instagram live at 10 o'clock and I never wake up on time. Why is it still in your plan? Why is it still in your plan? Change it. If you find that the plan is not working, change it. Don't keep telling yourself, I'm going to do an Instagram live at 7 o'clock and you wake up at 9 and you go, well, I'll do it tomorrow. No, change it. Make sure the plan is effective. Make sure that you're physically able to do it. And this is a side note, but here's how you're going to get success. I call it the triangle of success. There's 3 parts to this: clarity, capability, and motivation. This is a sidetrack, but I want you to take note of this. Anytime you find that you haven't been able to do something, it falls in one of these categories. Clarity. What is clarity? Am I clear? That's what we're here to talk about today. And capability as well. Am I clear about what it is that I'm supposed to do? A lot of time you're not clear. A lot of time I'm not. A lot of time when we don't do something, it's because we lack clarity. So when you lack clarity, maybe you need to sit down with a coach and go through some things. Maybe you need to, maybe you need to get some training, or maybe you need to really be specific about the goal. You need to be specific about what needs to happen. Maybe you need to really ask yourself, okay, what do I really want? What's the real thing that I want here? What is the expectation that I want to improve on? There's a focus on the right activities and achieving the right goals. I've got to be clear on what it is. Once you have clarity, you're then moving into capability. Okay, so am I capable of doing it? So similarly to, is it the right time? Do I have the right skill? Is it something that I need to work on? Am I fully capable? If you work 9 to 5 and you tell yourself that you want to make calls at 4 o'clock, your capability will not be there because potentially you're still going to be at work. So you need to make sure that you're planning, you're capable of doing what it is that you say that you want to do. A lot of the time we put some crazy thing. I heard somebody say that they want to help 100,000 people. I'm like, mate, before you help 100,000 people, how about you help 10? How about you help 100 first? Sometimes we get a bit crazy and sometimes we can overwhelm ourselves, and it's great to be ambitious, but why don't we just start with 1? I want to help 1 person, right? So we got to be really, really clear, and then we want to make sure we're capable. And capability is around time, resources, it's around skill set, all right? Clarity is around the goal, is around the specific actions, and then there's motivation. Now, motivation, there's 2 types of motivation. You have the internal motivators and the external motivators. Now, the internal motivators are things that hardly ever change. These are your values. These are your core. These are things that's close to your heart. Maybe an internal motivator is, retiring your parents, or, making sure the kids get into private school, or making sure these are internal things, generational wealth and all this stuff. And yes, internal motivators are good, but sometimes external motivators can get you a faster result. So maybe an external motivator will be an incentive. Maybe an external motivator would be a promotion at work. Maybe an external motivator. How many of you in the workplace have ever had an incentive, you know, to hit a sales target and you win a holiday, or an incentive to do something, right? An external motivator. Some of you inside our industry, you get an award at the Alive convention, or you get an award, or you'll be recognized. These are external motivators that can help you, that you can fix yourself on to help you get to the goal a lot faster. And so you want to make sure your internal and your external motivators are working alongside you to help you become motivated to do what it is that you need to do. Now, check this out, guys. You can also have, and one of the things I haven't taught on in a long time is demotivators. How many of you have had a demotivator motivate you, right? Something negative has motivated you. So if I don't do this, I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent, and I'm gonna get kicked out of the house. Or if I don't do this, I'm gonna be stuck in my job and I hate my job. If I don't do this, some people, their demotivators motivate them more than their motivators. Guys, I'll be honest, that was me. When I wanted to leave my job, you know, saying I wanted to retire my parents, that was far-fetched. But me saying I wanted to get away from my boss, that motivated the hell out of me. So you have to find what motivates you to move you into doing what it is that you need to do. So you're going to have these clear plans. And that was a sidetrack, right? But when you have a master plan, guess what happens? Your anxiety is reduced because you know what you need to do. You have a clear plan on what it is that you're going to do. You have a clear-cut plan. Your work-life, home-life balance actually improves because you know exactly what you're going to do, right? You'll be able to manage certain things. You'll actually be able to predict resources. You'll be able to predict income because you're going to be so consistent. Your plan is keeping you focused on the things that you need to do. Now, I'm going to say something now that is going to shock some of you guys, okay? Because guess what happens when you have a plan, right? This is why you don't fill your plan to the brim. And I'm going to teach you in a minute how to fill your plan, right? Some of you, I've shared this inside the bootcamp, but I'm going to be more specific so you can get this, because I want you all to have a plan. And I want you to make sure that tonight's homework is going to be to create your plan, right? But there will be hurdles that come up that's going to affect your plan. Yes or yes? How many of you have seen hurdles, right? How many of you have seen hurdles? How many of you have actually been your own hurdles? So you think, oh gosh, this is going to take too long, so I'm not going to do this. Or you say, you know what, I'm not going to do it because guess what? Let me just make sure this is perfect. Let me just get the perfect plan. Some of you, I know some of you are going to go on Excel spreadsheet. You're going to be taking your time with different colors. You're going to be doing the whole shebang. You see, you spend more time on the plan than you do executing the plan, right? All these little hurdles can come into it. Believing that the plan doesn't work. There's always a crisis moment happening. Oh, I can never do my plan because I'm always firefighting and there's loads of things that are happening all the time, right? So we have all these hurdles that's coming up. Sometimes the hurdle is you're over planning. You're over planning so much. There's so much going on in that plan that you set yourself up to fail because you've done put so much in there. And Superwoman couldn't even do that plan. Even if, you know, Superman wanted to do the plan, it would be impossible. So you got to make sure you don't over plan and the plan isn't inflexible, right? A lot of the time what happens is we have this time management situation. How many of you have ever had time? How many of you have ever heard someone say, I just don't have the time? Or when it comes to starting their business, they procrastinate. Oh, I don't know if I've got the time. Time management. If you have a proper plan, time management is easy. It's very easy. In fact, let me tell you this, and this one's going to sting. This is going to sting. Better planning upsets people. When you start to plan better, better planning will upset people. You know why? Because better planning means you're going to have to say to people, unfortunately, I won't be available at that time. You know, today it was so funny. Mr. Gary Dixon messaged me. He's like, Nikki, can you come on the call? I was like, actually, no. No, I can't. Because I've already made plans. I've already made plans. Like, I'm no longer that lastminute.com girl. I'm no longer that person that you can just catch on a whim and just say, hey, Nikki, sometimes it may work out that, you know, I'm available. But a lot of the time, guys, you got to plan. You have to plan, because when you start planning, people are going to respect you more. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, you know, she's not always available. You know, we got to make sure that we value her time, because she's not somebody, you know, this stuff is not something you just say to edify. It's actually real life. When you become a better planner, people got to make sure that they schedule time in for you. They got to make sure that they have, you know, the other day, somebody was telling me, like yesterday, last minute, Nikki, there's a launch. I'm like, when did I agree this wasn't something that was in my plan. Nobody told me about this. I can't do it. I actually can't do it. When you have a proper plan, people are going to respect you more. They're going to respect your time. They're going to make sure that they, you know, they're going to, you know, put it this way. Anytime you start to manage your time, you're bound to upset people, because your plan may not fit in with their lastminute.com plan. Your plan may not fit in with their plan, and you got to be okay with that. And I'm not saying that there's not times when it's like, give it a go. Let's see if we can do that. Yes, but you got to be so good about your plan that I can call you and I can say, okay, Tuesday, you know, the 3rd of March, can I put something in your diary? And you can say yes or no, because you have that level of planning. And you know, how many of you know that one of the key benefits of being, you know, really good at being planning is that people respect you more, yes, but your goals will actually be achieved or exceeded when you begin to plan, like really plan. You know, it's interesting. Everybody knows that I have a leadership call Tuesdays, 10 p.m., right? If you're a leader, you know, that I serve, everybody knows that Tuesday nights, 10 p.m., I have that leadership call. And those leaders that turn up, they know that I'm going to start doing that call. I'm going to give value, but I'm not going to lose my time by waiting for other leaders to come on. I'm going to start that call. And if you miss out, you miss out. You are going to have to catch up, because my time is limited. I'm going to make sure that the value that I give is going to ensure that, guess what? We're going to move. My time, I'm starting to plan out. I've got some plans that I've got different events that I'm going to be doing coming forward. It's a really, really busy time. And so I need to make sure that strategically things are happening. When you begin to plan more effective, guess what happens? You're less stressed. You can always tell somebody who isn't good at planning because they're all over the place. Oh, okay. It's so overwhelming. It's overwhelming because you haven't planned. It's overwhelming because you haven't planned correctly. Have you met anybody like that? They're all over the place. They're always late for school run. They're always like rushing around, rushing. You ever seen people rushing? Listen, people see me, they're like, Nikki, you're laid back. I'm laid back because I've planned out my day. Even if things don't go according to 100% plan. But you don't want to seem stressed. Nobody wants to do business with people that are overly stressed, right? And let me tell you this, when you plan correctly, you have better relationships as well. So it's very important to plan, right? Very important to plan. Your 90-day plan, where do you want to be in 90 days? Break that down into a weekly plan, and then you're going to have a daily plan that's going to help you to take on the actual activities that you need to do every single day. I call it an operating rhythm. Now, how do you operate? Now, here's a very important thing, and I'm going to tell you all to do this on a piece of paper. You're going to have a left-hand side and a right-hand side. So get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, right? And you can do this on this call, or you can do it when you come off, but you can take the information down. So on the left-hand side, you're going to write all the things that are income producing. And when I say income, it could be towards your goal. Maybe you want to lose weight, something that's directly connected to you achieving that goal. And then on the right side, you're going to have all the things that you need to do, but they're not technically income producing. So maybe you might have on the left-hand side, you know, if you were Marsha doing the dresses, you would have on there pull clients sales call, right? That would be on the left-hand side, a sales call that's directly going to give her the result. Or if you have a weight goal, that would be exercise. That's directly correlated to getting the result of losing weight, right? And then on the right-hand side, Marsha might have Mindset Mondays, like this call here. She might have school run. She might have meditation time, prayer time. All of that, she's saying these things still have to be done, but it's not an income, it's not a direct producing activity that's going to get me the result. So you have your left-hand side with the things that are going to get you the result, the right-hand side, which are the things that have to be done, but not necessarily going to give you the result. Let me give you an example. One of the things on my right-hand side was actually, you know, washing up, hoovering, ironing the kids' clothes, you know, the things that have to get done, but we're not producing me a result. So guess what? I figured out that I spent 4.5 hours doing that stuff a week. I was like, hold up now. And I realized that that was losing me money. So here's what I did, and I'm not telling everybody to do this, but I found that, you know, this is very interesting, and I'm very specific with the people that I use, but I found a lady that actually did that for £10 an hour. And I was like, right, if I get her in 4 hours a week, that's £40. I'm claiming back my time. I'm going to make more than that £40 in the 4 hours that I actually saved, that I could be making calls. You see, the dishes need to be done. The ironing need to be done, but don't have to be done by you. Some people like, well, Nikki, you have hired help. That's expensive. It's £10. It's £10. £10 could give you back an hour that enables you to do an income producing activity. Right now we pay, you know, we have the school bus that comes. I don't do school run in the morning because I've claimed back some of my time, and, you know, it allows me to do what I need to do in the morning. So now you're looking at your goals. You're looking at the things on the left. You're looking at the things on the right. Now, let me tell you a trick that some of you do in the reverse. You plot the things on the left first. So now you're going to get your diary. Okay, let me see if I can open up this. Let's see if I've got this example here for you. Boom. Right? So you want to open up your diary. Okay. And I want everyone to do this, right? I want everyone to do this. You're going to list. All right. It starts here from 8. I would advise from 7, right? So you're going to do this. You're going to have 8, 9, 10, all the way up to midnight, 6 a.m. to midnight. Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, right? Your weekly plan. Take a screenshot of this, guys, so you can see, but you're going to create this for yourself. And then what you're going to do, the only thing I want you to put in this plan is your income producing activities, nothing else. Don't put brushing your teeth. Don't put cooking. Don't put picking up the kids. I want you to put in this planner the only things that's going to give you income producing activities, right? Got it. Boom. Watch your life change. You see, what we do is we plan around the non-producing activities. What I want you to do is plot in your income producing activities. Now, if you don't have 5 income producing activities a day, that's what you want to aim for. Some people have 3, I say 5. Minimum 3 income producing activities a day. Those that are super successful are going to have 5 a day. And then here's a tip for you, time lock. So when you're executing a plan, lock your time. What do you mean by that, Nikki? Time locking involves creating a period of time where you will be undisturbed. House could be burning down. You ain't moving. You're getting it done. That's time locking. Time locking could mean turning your phone off if it's not an activity that requires your phone, but it means not scrolling on the gram in the middle of doing it. Time locking means that you're putting everything aside, no interruption, to have absolute focus on that particular task. Now, here's the thing that's very, very important, guys, if you want to have good relationships, is this word here, pre-positioning. Now, pre-positioning is very simple. Pre-positioning is telling the family, my family know when 10 to 9 comes, they're like, okay, you're going on your call now. Like, guys, this time is the time when mommy's going to be doing business. This time, and here's the best part, we're all going to look on the board and we can all see where we are to the goal. This is a family goal. Pre-positioning to your family, close family. If you ever call me at 9 o'clock on a Monday, you won't get me because I'm pouring into my mind. If you ever call me on 7 o'clock on a because otherwise, if you don't pre-position, how many of you start getting hate from your family members? How many of you start having side eye like, oh, she's too busy these days? Pre-position. Yesterday, guys, one of the things I do is I'm very specific with I'm very specific when it comes to dinner time with the kids. I don't normally take calls when it comes to dinner time, but I had to pre-position. I was like, guys, I've got a very, very important call, and I've been, waiting for this call for 6 months. We've been putting it off, and it's going to be just at the end of dinner. So we're going to have to rush dinner a little bit so I can answer this call. However, on the back of this call, okay, this is what's going to happen for the family. On the back of this call, it's going to bring us closer to the goal. Get the buy-in from people that you care about. Pre-positioning is important. If you've just started a business and all of a sudden your family have seen you go from being there all the time to all of a sudden on calls and making deals, they're going to be upset if you haven't pre-positioned it properly. Put a board up, especially if you have a sales target. Put it up. Let everybody mark it down so we're all going for the goal together. I've shown my team my back office, my sales run. I've showed them my funnels. I've showed my family everything in the back end so they can see, okay, this is how close we are. When we get there, yeah, we're gonna have family trip to, Dubai. When we get there, that's Disneyland. When we get there, that's Jamaica. Hey, what? When we get there, I've given my family some goal points. Guess what? They want me to achieve it quicker now because they're all invested in that goal. We are planning together. They understand Sundays is family day. We're going to sit down. We're going to go through some financial literacy. I'm going to make sure my children understand passive and active income. We're going to make sure we're going through the course together as a family. Everybody knows that's family time. That's where we do that. We don't shift that for hell no high water. That is time locked, right? So if anything has to change, there's got to be a conversation. It's pre-positioning. Say, hey, look, I know normally this is what's happening, but this is very, very important. Are weight loss reading considered as income producing? So reading is not an income producing activity because when you read, you don't make more money instantly. Okay, so the way that you look at income producing activities is when you do it, does it give you the result? Not does it make you think about doing this thing that's going to give you the result? Is it something that gives you the result? If your goal is to lose weight and you run around the block, that is an outcome producing activity. If the goal that you have is monetary, you reading is not going to put money in your pocket. You reading is going to put money in your mind that's going to get you to do the thing that's going to put money in your pocket. But reading itself is not an income producing activity, right? So it's important to list down income producing activities. When you do them, they're going to produce the outcome that you want, okay? So making a sales call could result in a sale. That is an income producing activity. Showing the plan could be an income producing activity because on the back of you showing your products and services, someone could buy. A freeway call is an income producing activity. Creating content is not an income producing activity, right? Going on Instagram Live and saying, click the link in my bio is an income producing activity, right? Creating content. You know how many people sit and create content all day? At the end of you creating it, it hasn't done anything. Posting the content is an income producing activity, but creating it isn't. This is a fine line between income and non-income. How many of you, listen, I got content in my phone for days that's never been posted, guys. Ain't made me no money. It's just sitting in the memory, right? So it's very, very important for us to really look at our daily activities and ask ourselves the honest question: how many income producing activities am I doing on a daily basis? Or am I just busy doing things that feel like they're income producing activities? They feel good. I mean, how many of us spend hours praying? I mean, hours meditating. I mean, if you sat in your house for 10 hours straight and prayed and meditated, God help you. You're waiting for Jesus himself to come down and put that check in your hand, because I tell you this, faith without works is dead, D-E-D, dead, not the D-E-A-D, dead, right? D-E-D, dead. So we got to make sure that income, does that make sense, guys? Please keep asking your questions so we can clarify, right? Clarify, very, very important. Very, very important. So make sure your plans are specific, okay? They must be very specific, right? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people start plans and they don't finish. They stop. Plans fall apart. And the reason why they fall apart is because they're not flexible enough. Notice I just said to you, only put in your plan the income producing activities. That means everything else is flexible around this. If you want to understand this, this is Stephen Covey's Stephen Covey's way of planning. And he talks about it. He says, look, you have your big rocks, your little rocks, and your sand. Okay. If you want to know deeper about this, there's a YouTube video on it. But he says you plot your big rocks. Your big rocks are the things going to make you the money. Your big, like this call right now isn't an income producing activity. This is me setting you up. This is your mindset. This is things that's going to keep you, keep you going. But I'm not actually selling anything on here. If at the end of the call I said, guys, I have a program, then it would be an income producing activity. Actually, this could be a retention tool. This could be a relationship building tool, but it's not actually an income producing activity. Does that make sense? Now, although sometimes there's things that we say we need to do, we want to do, we like doing, it's something that is giving back, it's a joy, and that's all great. But you got to make sure, like, guys, I used to do these like 2 or 3 times a week. And I was like, yo, Nikki, come on. This is too much now. You better go get your church and start preaching, because you can't be sitting there doing this 3 times a week. You can't, Nikki. So I said, okay, cool. We're going to stick to Monday mindset. That's me giving back. But now I need to focus on the income producing activities, right? So people stop doing their planning because they put too much in there. Strip it back, get real clarity on what it is that you need to do. Make sure you're capable of doing it, and then to keep yourself motivated, you're going to have that plan there, and you're going to work that plan every single day. Work that plan, right? A lot of the time people quit because they're not in a habit of planning. How many of you have ever watched me, especially if you mentor me and you go, I don't know how Nikki does it. She does it every day. Like, how does she do it? Like, I have people say, how, you know why? Because I built the muscle to do it. It's part of my daily operating rhythm. I plan to do it every day. It doesn't feel like work when your muscle, just like you get up at, how can, if someone says to you, how do you brush your teeth every day? Well, like, you have to. Duh. Like, you want to have a, building these habits where it just becomes natural, right? Where it just becomes natural. How many of you, it's not so natural to click into social media? How do you do it? You do it because you want to do it. Every day you click into your social media and you scroll. And someone said, well, how do you do it? Well, I'll just do it. Well, how come you, like, let's do that with our daily operating rhythm. Let's do that with our goals. And I really, really want to stress this, guys, because we can do it. It's not impossible. It's not too hard. You have a written plan, you're more likely to do it than if you don't. Very, very important. Get into the habit of it. Because what happens is at first, you're challenging your old behaviors. How many of you have ever said to yourself, I want to wake up earlier? You do it for a couple of days, and then you slip back into the old habit because guess what? It's more comfortable to do what you've always done. And so a plan in itself is not going to change your life. You've got to execute the plan. So let me give you some 90-day plans, like some real tips. First thing, you got to have a clear plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 for you. Let me give you a tip. I'm going to give you 3 tips. I'm going to give you the tip for the 90-day plan. I'm going to give you 5 tips for the weekly plan and 5 tips for your daily plan. You guys ready for this? Right? Boom. So first things first, you got to have a clear plan. This is your 90-day plan, right? So you got to make sure that the goals are stretched, but they're doable. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't be saying that in 90 days, you want to be a 10 millionaire and you've not made 100,000, right? So really be clear on, yes, it's got to be a stretch, but make sure it's doable. Okay. You need measurable outcomes. Don't just have willy-nilly stuff. You want it really, really measurable. Okay. And you want to make sure it's clear to the point that, everything that you're doing is relevant to what it is that you want to achieve. So for example, the things inside that plan is going to go with what it is that you want to achieve overall. Because sometimes, I see things and they're not in alignment with the actual goals. So you want to make sure that you have clear goals. The second thing is it must be personal. Your 90-day actions must be things that you're going to do, not things that other people are going to do. So a lot of the time people say, one of my plans is, to get one of my salespeople to make 5,000. Well, you can't plan for somebody else's plan, if that makes sense. You have to make sure that it's things that you are going to do, not what you want somebody else to do. Very, very important. It's got to be personal. The next thing is it must be powerful. Actions that are in your 90-day plan, they can't just be it's not just a goal that you could just do tomorrow. It's got to be something that is powerful. It must be something that that you believe is going to make a positive and powerful impact in your life and other people's lives, okay? The next thing that you want to do is you want to focus on few actions. Okay, you don't want to have a 90-day plan should not have like 20 things. I would say maximum 5, okay? You don't, a lot of people, they have these big old plans and they have 20 things, 30 things. Even one thing that you want to achieve over a 90-day period is better than having 20 things. And God knows you don't get any of them done and you feel demotivated. So make sure it's limited, critical, few actions, okay? And obviously not to-do lists or anything like that. It's got to be real specific. And just another thing that helps me to remember my actions is that they must be video recordable. So if you say, oh, one of the goals is to be less procrastination, you can't video record that. One of your goals is to do 20, what are these things called? I don't even know what I'm doing. 20 star jumps. Okay, I can see that, okay, because that is what it is, right? I don't even know why I'm doing it like this, because this is not a star jump. But you guys get what I'm talking about. So think about it. Can I record this? If I say be more consistent, you can't record that. It's got to be something that you can actually record and you know it's that clear, jumping jacks, as Denisha says, right? So that's for your 90-day plan. Now, the weekly plan. Now, very, very important. Your weekly plan, okay, 5 tips for your weekly plan, okay? Your weekly plan, you must be able to manage it. Very, very simple. Okay, it must be something that you can manage on a weekly basis that you're looking at to say, okay, these are the things I want to get done every single week. Okay, you also must make sure that you are following up and feeding back to yourself, following up on the plan, looking at it constantly, saying, is this working? Is that not working? What's happening here? What really worked? Your weekly plan should be something that you're looking at all the time, right? Also, as well, when you're developing your weekly plan, you must make sure it has actions that you are going to implement that's going to get you overall to the 90-day goal, okay? So you're breaking down your 90-day goal into a weekly tangible thing that you're going to achieve, right? And then you're looking at, okay, I call it task grouping. But there's some things that you don't need to do individually. You could task it together. So for example, let's say, for example, like one of the things that you want to do, Marsha, to sell more dresses is you want to be able to sell to a customer, but also get them down for dress fitting. You're not going to say sell to a customer 9 o'clock on a Monday and then call customers to do dress fitting on 7 o'clock on a Friday. You can actually group those together. And when you call a customer, you do 2 things at once. Do you get it? So there's certain things that you could group together. Maybe if you're doing, I don't know, one of the things you could do is, we call it kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Get group tasks together. If you're going to time lock and lock an hour to just focus, maybe get a couple of things done in that same hour. That way you're grouping your time together. That's very, very good when it comes to weekly goals. Okay, the next one is proactivity. You got to be proactive when you're building your plan. Okay, so make sure it's not over the top. There's flexibility. That's the 5th one. But also as well, make sure that if you hear anything and if you think of something, you can put that in the plan. If you hear something, you're going to be proactive with it. If, let's say, for example, you have a meeting at 10 o'clock and that 10 o'clock cancels, don't just say, well, I ain't got nothing to do now. Pick something from your plan and work that plan. Right? Work the plan, constantly work the plan and look for ways. Right, daily tip sheet now. When you're doing your daily plan, do the plan the night before. The night before, you're going to look at your weekly plan and you're going to say, okay, tomorrow, what am I going to do? These are the times I'm going to do it. I just showed you the calendar, how you're going to create that every day, okay? You can also do a weekly one of that as well. But the day before, you're going to list out what you're going to do. You're going to plan it. You're going to plot it in the time that you're going to do it, the day before. Very important with a daily plan is that you prioritize and also adjust. Okay, you prioritize what you're going to do and make sure the priorities are the income producing activities. Important with a daily plan, be specific. Don't put in your daily plan, make calls, right? That's not specific enough. Maybe you want to go through your phone or whatever and you list the names of all the people that you're going to call. That's going to be so specific for you because you have the names, you're going to tick them off. If you have a running list, which most people should have a running list of customers, you say, right, I'm going to go through my running list. I'm going to tick off 10 people. That's going to be so specific. Here's a very, very beautiful thing to have in your daily plan, a contingency plan. If something unexpected happens, when am I going to fit it in? Have you ever had someone ring you and say, oh, I need this now. Or if you're at work or you have an emergency at work, if something kicks off at work or if something happens with family, if there's an emergency, when am I going to fit this in? You must have a space in your daily and weekly plan of where you're going to fit in the emergency stuff. A lot of people don't do that, but I plan the unplannable stuff. That's my emergency section. And the last thing about a daily plan is every day review what worked and what didn't, and then shift it, right? These are practical applications, guys. Practical things that you can do. So here we're going to do a quick quiz. Let me just make sure that every single person is awake and alive, right? Raise your hand if you know it. All right, we're going to do a quick quiz. Number one, what are the 3 elements of a plan? Okay, I've just gone through 3 elements. What are the 3 elements? Somebody unmute yourself and tell me the answer. I'm going to let you guys unmute. What are the 3 elements of a plan, guys? 3 different plans that you can have.
Nikki, I'm going to say clarity, capability, and motivation.
That is not planning, Marsha. That is just a tool of success. That is the success triangle, right? And that is going to help you to know whether your plan is doing what it needs to do. 3 parts to a plan. You see, I got to make sure I inspect what I expect with you guys, right? Go ahead, guys. Unmute yourself. Marsha went in.
Monthly. Is it the daily 90 days and the weekly?
Come on, Amanda. Let's go. 1 point for Amanda. Let's do it. So I see Marlene like, I was thinking that you were too scared to say it, Marlene. You should have unmuted yourself. Next
one.
question.
I was about to go and type it.
About to. That's not going now, girl. Next one. What is time locking? Someone tell me, what is time lock? What does time locking mean?
I know.
Who's that?
Denicia.
Denicia, go for it, girl.
It's when you can't be reached because you're making it happen.
There we go. You're blocking out that time, even if there's like everything crazy happening. You're doing it. Well done. That's a point for Denisha. All right, let's see what we're saying here. Number 3. What is the purpose of a weekly plan? Why are we having a weekly plan, guys? What's the purpose?
Keep you on track and focused of what you're doing.
Who's that? Amanda. Excellent.
Yes.
It's going to keep you on track. It's going to keep you focused. It is a pull down from your 90-day plan, okay? And it's to keep you doing what it is that you're doing. All right, next one. What is task grouping? What do I mean by task grouping? Who's going to tell me?
More than one thing.
Utilize your team to complete a task.
Right, I heard 2 people there. I heard Chicks and I heard somebody else.
It's me.
Who was the other person?
Me.
What did you say, Amanda?
I was saying task grouping is always have your backup task. If something doesn't work, you can always get something else in.
Say that again?
If you've got more than one task, so at least if you're doing one thing and you can't get to utilize that time, you can use it to do something else.
Perfect. Come on, Amanda. 2 points for Amanda. That is exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. All right. When should the daily plans be created, ladies and gents? When
The night before.
That was Panama.
Night before.
Panama, you got that point right there. Let's go. Panama was straight in there. The night before is when you're supposed to do that daily plan. Get in there, girl. All right. Let's see if I got another question for you all. All right. Tell me the 3 parts to success.
Clarity and capability and
clarity,
motivation.
Who was that? Somebody said
Me,
that.
Andrea.
Andrea, where's Andrea? Andrea, you got that point. You got that point. Excellent, 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 excellent. Okay, someone tell me.
Because I did say it at the beginning. Sis, man.
No, you said it for the wrong answer, babe. You can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't.
Yourself again. Sorry.
All right, next one. Give me some of the hurdles that could come up. I want 2 hurdles that could come up where people stop executing their plan and don't do their plan properly. 2 things.
My daughter walking into my room halfway through the call is a pretty good one.
Demotivators.
Who was that?
That's Belinda. Oh, and
Hey,
Sharon.
Belinda. Motivators. Yeah, give me an example.
Friends and family.
Friends and family could demotivate. Another one. I want
Oh,
to.
Housework.
Housework could be one. Dan, you giving
I
Belinda
can
the
do it
answer.
later.
What was that, Chicks?
I can do it later.
I can do it later. Yeah, making excuses.
Procrastination.
or people don't turn up.
Procrastination. What else?
Going to the toilet.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on from that.
Daniel, keep that one there.
All right, but what are some of the benefits of actually being well and truly organized and planning your day? What are some of the benefits?
Prepared.
Get jobs done.
Get your task done.
Get your task done. What
Keeps
else?
you on
Your
task.
goals.
Keeps you
More income.
More income,
Personally,
Momentum.
more quality time
Better
with my
momentum.
kids.
more quality time with your kids, momentum. What else?
Reach your goal. Reach your target or your goal.
Reach your goal.
Yes.
What else? You'll have less what?
Stress.
Who said stress?
Andrea.
Big up yourself, Andrea. You'll have less stress and people will trust you more. Guys, that concludes our quiz. I think we might have a quiz at the end of everyone because I think you guys are very, very competitive. In fact, we're going to do some celebrations next week for the best plans. Of course, I'm going to end this call with some homework. I want to see as many of your plans as possible, whether you're happy to share it on socials or just share it with me privately. I want to see the weekly plans come to life. And what are you all going to do tonight, guys?
Daily plan.
Make a
Plan.
daily plan for
Plan
tomorrow.
Plan for tomorrow.
I want to see some clear. I want to see some clear plans for tomorrow. So let's all agree, guys. I want to see as many of them as possible. You can send it to me privately on any of the socials, WhatsApp, Instagram, or whatever. And if you want me to take a look at your plans, of course I will do that. And help you with those as well. But let's get really good at planning. Planning is going to bring our focus, and we want to focus and fly in February. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Those of you that are coming out to our event on Saturday, please be early. Please be early. Make sure you get there on time because it's definitely focus and fly season. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to see you all next week, same time, same link. And guess what we're going to do? We are going to check up on your plans and we're going to do more of the quiz to make sure that this is sinking in. All right. Who's committed to getting their plans done tonight for tomorrow and also a really good, smooth weekly plan? And let's all execute it together. Okay. I want to see as many as possible and make it happen. All right. So for those of you that